Planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Bulma, Chi-Lai, Whis, and Beerus together looking at the holographic screen that was broken because of the power that Yamoshi released, ending up ruining the holographic screen. But sometimes it would work again for a few seconds. Bulma said, "Are Gogeta and Broly okay? Are they still alive?" The woman spoke as she looked at the holographic screen and then looked at Whis and Beerus. Beerus said, "Don't worry, those two are still alive, as I can still feel their ki. But I don't think it will last long compared to the power Yamoshi is releasing," said the God of Destruction while watching the holographic screen, worried. Chi-Lai said, "Wait, so does that mean Broly and Gogeta won't be able to defeat Yamoshi? But they were fighting him so well," said the woman, worried about Broly, since he could die any time in that battle. Whis said, "Unfortunately, no. Not even Gogeta and Broly using Kaioken 10 will be able to defeat Yamoshi in his Super Saiyan God form. The only hope for those two is that they manage to escape from there now, because if they don't, they will definitely be killed by Yamoshi," said the angel in a very serious way while looking at everyone in the place. Bulma thought, "Goku, Vegeta, please, get out of there now. You have to run away from this battle. Otherwise you two will be killed, and I don't want to have to see you two dead again in front of me," thought Bulma in a sad tone that made her remember several moments when she saw her husband and childhood friend very hurt and even dead in front of her. Whis spoke. "The battle is over," said the angel beside Beerus, who soon closed his eyes, giving a heavy sigh. Chi-Lai said, "Where's Broly?" Chi-Lai screamed desperately, already letting some tears run down her face. Bulma said, "If the battle is over, then it means that Gogeta and Broly were defeated. And if they haven't come back by now, then it means that," said Bulma, almost crying, but soon she held back her crying as she heard a noise of something falling to the ground, causing Bulma to turn her face towards the noise. Right after everyone heard the strange noise, everyone turned to see what it was. And the reason for that noise was Broly, Vegeta, and Goku, who fell to the ground with several injuries. Broly was in a more serious condition with several bones in his body broken, and especially his arm was broken. As for Goku, who had his legs broken, which was making the Saiyan groan in pain for having his legs broken. Vegeta, among the three, was more relaxed, feeling pain all over his body, especially in his leg, which was very sore because Yamoshi had broken Gogeta's leg, which made Vegeta's leg very painful. Chi-Lai said, "Broly!" Screamed Chi-Lai upon seeing her friend's condition, who was too hurt to be honest. Broly was in a bad shape and would probably die if he didn't get medical help right away. Bulma said, "Vegeta! Goku!" screamed the woman when she saw the state of her husband and her childhood friend who was well injured. Bulma said, "Damn it! Take them and put them inside the regeneration pods immediately," ordered the woman to some doctors who were already ready for what happened. Bulma said, "They're fine. Injured, but well enough not to die. Rest assured, Chi-Lai, Broly is not going to die. He's just very injured, but he will survive. So try to calm down, please," said the blue-haired woman, trying to comfort Chi-Lai, who was crying a lot when she saw Broly's state, which made her automatically remember Lemma was dead, and if Broly dies herself, she would be alone once again. Sometime later. Some time had passed since the moment that Broly, Goku, and Vegeta had arrived at that place, and now it was possible to see Broly and Goku inside the recovery capsule. Vegeta was already more restored since he didn't have so many injuries and only needed to use one type ointment on his muscles to relax them, apart from using some medication to ease the pain in his body. Currently, it was possible to see everyone gathered in the living room of that island, and Bulma was next to Vegeta, who was already better than Goku, and Broly, who was still injured and with some pain and around their body. Whis, Beerus, and Chi-Lai were also close to the recovery pod. Whis said, "Good, Vegeta. What do you have for us to talk about Yamoshi?" asked the angel while looking at Vegeta. Beerus said, "Tell us everything you know about him, Vegeta. Tell us about his transformations, even about his powers." The God of Destruction spoke in a very serious tone while looking at the Prince of Saiyans. Vegeta said, "That guy is a real monster. From the beginning of our fight, he was holding back his power to not kill us so fast. He was just having fun with the fight. And when I merged with Kakarot, Me and Kakarot got to know that he was holding back a lot of his power, so much so that in most combat he was wearing an outfit that was many times more Pasadas than planet Earth, and for him, it was very normal to wear that outfit," said the Prince of the Saiyans while looking at everyone in the place who were surprised by Yamoshi's physical strength. Bulma said, "Only his clothes were heavier than a planet? If he's that strong in base form, I can already imagine how strong he is when he's transformed into Super Saiyan God form," said the woman, shocked by the strength of the first Saiyan to become a god. Vegeta said, "Millions of times stronger. Even Gogeta and Broly using Kaioken 10X couldn't face him. And even though I don't want to believe it, I have to say I believe that Yamoshi wasn't using his 100% true power," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking at everyone in the place, especially Beerus, who had his eyes closed. But Vegeta and Beerus could see that Beerus was nervous and even worried, because according to him, Yamoshi is the prophetic Saiyan who will defeat him, and Beerus realizes how Yamoshi was a very strong candidate to defeat him, the current god of destruction of Universe 7. Beerus spoke, "Whis, have you found Yamoshi's new location yet? After they came back, I can't feel Yamoshi's energy anymore," said the god of destruction while looking at his angel, who soon took his staff and looked at it to track him, but Whis couldn't find where Yamoshi was. Whis said, "1,000 pardons, Sir Beerus, but it was still not possible to find Yamoshi's whereabouts," said the angel while looking at Beerus, who gave a heavy sigh as he put his hand on top of his head out of frustration for not knowing where Yamoshi was. Vegeta said, "Mr. Beerus, I would like to ask you to train me so I can face Yamoshi again," said the Prince of the Saiyans while looking at the God of Destruction, who soon raised his head and faced Vegeta. Bulma said, "Not really. You're too injured to train, and you're already taking a beating from Yamoshi, and you want to face him again? Not even," speaking to Bulma, annoyed with her husband's attitude. Vegeta said, "Don't come with that, Bulma. If I don't get stronger when Yamoshi comes to planet Earth, he's going to kill everyone, and I'm not going to stand here waiting for death to come and let you die," said the Saiyan very determined while looking at his wife. Beerus said, "Vegeta is right, Bulma. Yamoshi will come to Earth at one time or the other, and that's why I'm going to train you, Vegeta. But first you need to recover, then I'll train you. So recover quickly because we don't have time to waste." The God of Destruction spoke seriously to the Saiyan. Bulma said, "Since I can't stop that from happening, I can at least take care of you until you recover fully, so you can return to combat. Don't worry because I'll put some more ointment on your wounds so that can heal as soon as possible," spoke Bulma angrily, getting up and then being followed by her husband, thus leaving only Whis and Beerus in the room. Whis said, "Mr. Beerus, I don't want to be curious, but I need to ask. Training Vegeta to face Yamoshi is not the only reason, right?" asked the angel to Beerus, who threw his head back so he was looking at the ceiling. Beerus said, "No, Goku wouldn't want that. So it's better to put Vegeta in my place in case the worst happens," spoke the God of Destruction in a serious way to Whis. Whis said, "So you have decided. Your successor to the position of God of Destruction will be Lord Vegeta, and for that you will teach him the power of the Hakaishin." The angel spoke in a serious way, and at the same time sad to know that Beerus might end up dying, and that's why he chose the one who will be the next God of Destruction of the 7th universe, and his name is Vegeta. Meanwhile, Yamoshi was heading to Universe 6 in search of new Saiyans. Now with Yamoshi. Currently with Yamoshi, it was possible to see the Saiyan traveling through the stars in search of a planet thousands of years ago that he had visited and left some important information that could lead him to the 6th universe. Yamoshi said, "If I remember correctly, millions of years ago, Bibbidi told me about the existing 18th universes created by the certain Zeno-sama. And if my memory serves me correctly, he had said that the 6th and 7th universes, they were twin universes, so they must be Saiyans in the 6th universe. But is there someone in this world with the power of the legendary Super Saiyan? Or is there someone who has at least one power considered divine? Well, the only way to find out is to go there, so let's hurry things up." The legendary Super Saiyan God spoke before flying through the vacuum of space in search of a planet he hadn't visited in a long time. It didn't take long for Yamoshi to arrive on a planet similar to planet Earth, but that planet's solar system was green, unlike the original Earth's solar system, which is yellow. So the Saiyan entered the atmosphere of that planet and went towards a mountain that had a waterfall of greenish waters. Yamoshi said, "If I remember correctly, it's this waterfall that used to be the Bibbidi Research Center. Is that old wizard still alive?" "Probably not," said the Saiyan before entering under the waterfall, where there was a cave where Yamoshi entered. Soon the legendary Saiyan followed to the end of the cave, where there was a huge steel door that should easily weigh millions of tons. But for Yamoshi it was nothing. So that way Yamoshi managed to open the gigantic door. A mysterious being said, "Look who it is. Looks like the old monkey is still alive," said the mysterious being sitting on a chair while looking at Yamoshi's face, who just smiled when looking at that being. Yamoshi said, "So that means you're still alive, Bibbidi. He's a lot older and uglier than when we first met," said the Saiyan as he looked at the mage in front of him. Bibbidi said, "1,000 pardons for not aging like you Saiyans. I had to use one of my spells to keep myself alive in this world, and believe it or not, I even had a child different from you who disappeared from this world without leaving a descendant, a son of your race, a Saiyan like you," said the wizard while playing with Yamoshi's face, who ended up getting a vein pulsing in his forehead. Yamoshi said, "You have a lot of courage to talk like that to someone who has a level of power that equals a god, and can even surpass it, you crazy old man," said the Saiyan while looking at Bibbidi, who just laughed at Yamoshi's face. Bibbidi said, "You have the power of a god, and I have the ability to do magic that can kill a god, so don't threaten me, Yamoshi. But now, our exchange of threats aside, what do you want with me? Because I know you wouldn't come here to pay an old acquaintance a visit," said the wizard, Bibbidi, while looking at Yamoshi, who soon returned to a calmer expression. Yamoshi said, "No, I didn't come here just to see if you were still alive, you mummy. I came here for you to help me go to another of the 18th universes, but precisely to a universe that has other Saiyans like me. Already that the Saiyan of this universe are practically extinct." Yamoshi spoke while looking at the wizard Bibbidi, who had soon put his hand on his chin while thinking. Bibbidi said, "Let me guess, you're looking for the surviving Saiyans of this universe 7, and you already fought him. And let me guess, you defeated them, and that made you want to face even more Saiyans. And as in this universe, you already defeated them all, so you want to go to another universe," spoke the mage Bibbidi, judging Yamoshi's actions while looking at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "That's right. I faced the one who possessed the power of the legendary Super Saiyan known as Broly, and another who was a fusion between two Saiyans, who was called Gogeta. They had such great powers that I had to use my divine transformation. Of course for a short time, but even if it was an exciting battle, and that's why I want to face more Saiyans from all other universes," said the Saiyan, excited when remembering his fight against Gogeta and against Broly, something that made him even more excited to face other Saiyans. Bibbidi said, "Now it makes sense that I felt that wave of divine energy that arrived on this planet of mine. As always, you can't stop wanting to fight strong opponents. I can't say many things since this is part of your nature. The Saiyans always, they're looking for a reason to fight and get stronger. It seems like a vicious cycle," said the wizard Bibbidi, soon giving a sigh as he looked at Yamoshi, who just laughed while cracking his neck. Yamoshi said, "I'm a Saiyan. Battles are in my veins, so trying to deny that is the same as denying my own existence," said the Saiyan while looking at Bibbidi, who was looking at him all the time. Yamoshi said, "So will you help me or not to go to another universe so I can have more exciting fights, like I had recently against those Saiyans Broly and Gogeta, since they must be the strongest in the universe, after of course," said the Saiyan while looking seriously at Bibbidi, who soon gave a sigh. Bibbidi said, "It's okay, I'll help you, you idiot monkey, but it will take at least a few days before I can open a gap between the 6th and 7th universes. Until then, stay there resting or training. Just don't get involved in battles for now," said the mage Bibbidi, leaving Yamoshi confused by the mage's request not to involve him in fights. Yamoshi said, "Why can't I get involved in fights?" said the Saiyan, confused while looking at the mage in front of him. Bibbidi said, "It's simple, you dumb monkey. Whenever you fight, you release a lot of your energy, and this causes distortions in the universe. And for me to create a rift between universes, I need the energy of the universe to remain calm and neutral. And if you fight, it will make the universe chaotic, and that will prevent me from being able to create the rift. So if you really want to go to another universe, stay very quiet there in your corner. Or I don't know why you will travel between the planets since you don't see a million years. Who knows? Maybe you won't find a descendant, a son of his lost around here, said the mage, explaining to Yamoshi the reason he didn't fight for a while. Yamoshi said, since this is how I'm going to get some sleep. I haven't slept in a quality bed in millennia, and then I think I'll have some fun in some planets to play with some women, said the legendary Saiyan before leaving that one place and goes to another room further back in the cave where there was a room that belonged to him when he was on that planet. Bibbidi thought, here, I was thinking that this dumb stupid monkey had been killed or sealed, but it looks like some idiot ended up freeing him, and now he's back in this world. I'm glad he doesn't want to kill me because if he didn't, I would. Cancel his energy regeneration and recovery, because if it wasn't for that, I'm sure he would be killed by those Saiyans, thought the wizard before starting to read some things in his book, and then going to get some items to perform the magic for creating a rift between two dimensions. A few days later. A few days had passed since the day that Yamoshi had asked Bibbidi to open a rift, a portal to another universe. During this period, Yamoshi did what he had said before. So Yamoshi went to other planets and had fun with many women. In compensation for the places he passed through, he destroyed some civilizations simply because he wanted to. He had no reason. Yamoshi did it for pure pleasure. And now on the planet of Bibbidi, it was possible to see Yamoshi, who had returned, since the wizard Bibbidi was in the center of the laboratory and had finally finished performing his magic, thus creating a portal to the 6th universe. Bibbidi said, "It's ready, Yamoshi. This portal will take you to some random location in the 6th universe. Now it's up to you. You'll have to find out where the Saiyans live," said the mage while looking at Yamoshi, who was very excited to find the Universe 6 Saiyans. Yamoshi said, "Don't worry, Bibbidi. I'll find a way to find those Saiyans," said the Saiyan with a huge smile on his face. Bibbidi said, "But before you go, get this," said the wizard, creating an item, being a ring, and gave it to Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "What is this for, Bibbidi?" asked the Saiyan while looking at the ring. Bibbidi said, "I put the magic of the portal between universes in this ring. So when you want to go to this universe and just put your divine energy in it, the portal will open. Now get off my planet at once," said the wizard in a rigid tone while looking at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "Thank you, Bibbidi," said the Saiyajin, putting the ring on his finger and then entering the portal that then closed. In the 6th universe on the planet of the God of Destruction. Currently on the planet of the God of Destruction of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Champa, the current God of Destruction of that universe, sitting at a table full of food, and he was eating a type of chicken pie, and sitting next to him on the table, Vados Anja was responsible for taking care of that universe, and he is also Champa's assistant. Champa spoke. "It's amazing how delicious food made by humans is. Choosing to use the Super Dragon Balls to bring back our planet Earth was a very important decision." The God of Destruction spoke while taking a bite of the chicken pie. Vados said, "So you should thank your brother, shouldn't you, Mr. Champa? After all, he was the one who decided to use the Super Dragon Balls to bring the humans of our universe back to life after we were defeated by them in the tournament between Universe 6 and 7. Said the woman with a smug smile on her face as she looked at Champa's face, who was irritated by her Anja always remembering that the humans of the 6th universe are only alive because Beerus, his brother, wished it. Champa said, "You don't need to remind me of that all the time, woman. And even if you say that, I will never thank Beerus for using the Super Dragon Balls and wishing to bring the humans of our universe back to life," said the God of Destruction, a little annoyed while looking at Vados. Vados said, "But that's not all you should thank Mr. Beerus for. Or have you forgotten that it was the 7th universe that won the Tournament of Power and asked the Super Dragon Balls to bring not only our universe, but yes, all other universes that participated in the tournament?" said the Anja while putting a scoop of strawberry ice cream in her mouth. Champa said, "I'm not going to thank that idiot Beerus for anything, and if I know well who wished that, all the universes that participated in the Tournament of Power would come back to life, it was that android number 17, when I would never thank him, said the god of destruction angrily while looking at his Anja, who was ignoring Champa's tantrum, who was focused on eating her ice cream. While Champa threw a tantrum about not wanting to thank his brother Beerus, while Vados said that he should thank Beerus because without him, Champa would be dead and couldn't eat such delicious food anymore. But on the other side of Universe 6, a portal opened across the 6th universe. On the other side of the 6th universe, on any lifeless planet, it was possible to see a portal opening and from it a Saiyan coming out, and that was Yamoshi, who was excited by Bibbidi's magic to have worked. Yamoshi said, "Looks like everything went well, and now I'm in Universe 6. I'm excited to see how powerful the Saiyans of this universe are," said the Saiyan, excited to be able to face new Saiyans and see if they are strong enough to make him use his new transformation that leaves Yamoshi with blonde hair. This is the Super Saiyan that Yamoshi recently awakened in his battle against Broly and Gogeta. Yamoshi said, "Now that I'm here, I wonder, is there someone in this universe who also became a god and ended up becoming a legend for these Saiyans of this world? I don't know, but I know that if he exists and if he is alive, I will face him and defeat him, because only a legend of the first Saiyan to become a god must exist, and that will be me," said the Saiyan, opening a huge smile while imagining himself defeating another Saiyan. Yamoshi said, "Well, now what should I do to find out where the Saiyans of this world live? Should I go traveling from planet to planet? Should I try to get information, or should I go around killing everyone in my way until someone tells me where they live?" said the Saiyan while thinking about how to find where the Saiyans of the universe live. Yamoshi said, "Going out killing everyone until someone tells me something seems like a good idea, but it could attract the attention of the god of destruction of this universe, and I'm not in the mood to face him. It's not because I would be killed or defeated by him, but because my goal is just to fight the Saiyans. But if they get in my way, I will kill him, even if I have to kill the Supreme Kaio, Lord of this universe, and that way the god of destruction of this universe dies too," said the Saiyan while thinking about the possible future fight against a god of destruction, something that excited him, but not as much as wanting to fight a Saiyan. Yamoshi said, "Well, I think I'll pretend to be weak and go around asking about the Saiyans, and when I find out where they live, I'll go there immediately and see if they are strong," said the Saiyan, soon taking a bracelet that was on his pocket, and then he placed it on his arm, making a light appear on his body, and soon revealing his old appearance that he had when he came out of his ceiling, and without further delay, he began to fly towards other planets in search of information about the Saiyans. Yamoshi thought, "Look, it seems that the angel of this universe along with the god of destruction felt my power. What will they do to me?" thought the Saiyan, curious with the fact that he had already attracted the eyes of the angel and the current god of destruction of the 6th universe. Yamoshi said, "It doesn't matter. Even if it's a god of destruction, I'll kill him. And it's okay without any problem," said the Saiyan, immediately leaving that place. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Broly and Goku were still recovering from their injuries, and their lives were no longer in danger. And very soon Yamoshi could appear on planet Earth to finish his work, and thus kill Broly, Vegeta, and Goku. But Whis had an idea. Whis said, "This not cool situation. If Yamoshi comes here, it'll be the end. So Broly and Goku need to train too, since you, Beerus, will train Vegeta to master the power of Hakai." Beerus spoke. "Do you have something on your mind, Whis?" Beerus asked, confused, not understanding what Whis meant by all that. Whis said, "Yes, I have a plan. It's simple. Let's make Broly's Ozaru form come out from the inside out. Since in Super Berserker, he dominates the Ozaru inside his body. If Broly managed to do that, we will have a new power to help Vegeta and Goku to try to defeat Yamoshi." Whis spoke, revealing his plan. Beerus said, "Why didn't you say that before, Whis? Let's put this plan into practice as soon as he recovers," said Beerus, excited and trusting, but still feeling scared because if Whis' plan does not work and goes wrong, he will have to face Yamoshi. Now back to Yamoshi. Currently on the planet of the God of Destruction of Universe 6, it was possible to see that Champa and Vados had finally finished eating all the food that was on the table, and now they were resting, but soon they both ended up feeling a lot of energy, coming from the other side of the universe. Champa said, "Vados, You just felt it, didn't you? Such gigantic and overwhelming energy, said the god of destruction in a serious way, while looking at Vados, who was as surprised as Champa. Vados said, Yes, sir, Champa. I also felt that power, and I would say that it is very strong. Whoever it is, said the angel while looking at Champa. But soon, they both stopped feeling all that power, and Champa said it disappeared. Did this being just die? No, he must have hidden his own power. Now the question is, who is this being? What does he want in my universe? Said the god of destruction, nervous and with a little fear when feeling that power. Champa thought, but why am I feeling this way? I am more nervous than the day of the tournament of power. And at that time I felt like I would be killed at any moment. But now I'm feeling the same way, only much stronger than before, thought the god of destruction while shivering slightly, and left a single line of cold sweat running down his face and falling to the floor. Champa thought, why am I feeling this way? I am a god of destruction, and I have more power than this being, but I am still shaking. Who is this being? Thought the god of destruction, irritated because of his trembling, and with a lot of anger at this being that made him stay that way. Champa said, Vados, I want you to find this being that has this monstrous amount of energy as soon as possible, and tell Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale that they have to be on high alert. The god of destruction spoke in a truly serious tone. Something almost impossible to see. Champa was never someone who talks about serious things. Vados said, I understand, Mr. Champa, but now I have a doubt. I understand that you want to find out who this being that has so much energy is, but why should I talk to Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla? Asked the woman, soon standing up and taking her stick. Champa said, I don't really know why, but for some reason I feel that this being has some relationship with the Saiyans, and that's why I want you to warn them. And not only that, I also want you to take the Patara earrings to Caulifla and Kale. I don't know what's going to happen, but if things get ugly, it's good for Kefla to show up in this situation. Now go and do what I've told you now, said the god of destruction as he looked at Vados. Vados spoke, Yes, Sir Champa. As she said that just before disappearing from the place, leaving only Champa on the dinner table. Champa thought, I don't know who you are, but I know your being in my universe is already a problem, and that's something I can't allow. So if anything gets in a serious tone, and even Kefla can't solve it, then I'll go myself, having to fight this man even though my instincts tell me to stay as far as possible. I will kill him using my Hakai. That way he will be erased from existence, thought the god of destruction as he released his energy of destruction that ended up making the dining room very destroyed, with several cracks everywhere. A few days had passed since the moment that Yamoshi had arrived in that universe, during which time Yamoshi sought information about the Saiyans and where they should be living. Yamoshi, in addition to seeking information about the Saiyans, he discovered that there were some beings in that world who were very strong, such as an assassin named Hit, said to be one of the strongest warriors in that universe. And in an unintentional way, he discovered that in that universe there had been a tournament of power where the strongest warriors of all the universes ended up facing each other. Something that caused a lot of envy in Yamoshi for not having participated in a tournament like this. After all, he was a Saiyan, and fighting powerful beings from all universes was something natural for him, and it made Yamoshi sad that he didn't participate. Now on a trading planet. On a planet focused on making sales and purchases of items from all over the universe, it was possible to see an old Saiyan sitting on the edge of a building while he was eating an apple and had a newspaper in his hand, and that man was Yamoshi, who was reading about the Saiyans in the newspaper. Yamoshi read, once again the Saiyans managed to maintain peace and harmony after preventing a new war between the Red Zekians and Blue Zekians, and now both sides had made a peace treaty. The one who was responsible for such an act was Kaba, the leader from the Battle of the Saiyans, along with his two strongest allies being Kale and Caulifla. Yamoshi read as he finished eating his apple, and then threw the newspaper away with a smile of shame and disgust. Yamoshi said, Saiyans trying to keep the peace? This is indeed a bad joke. Saiyans are machines created to only fight and destroy. These Saiyans are seeking peace and harmony between the beings of this universe. They must die. The Saiyans as they are must battle and conquer the planets and not save and protect them. I must really show these Saiyans how a real Saiyan acts, said the Saiyan soon, getting up and flying out of that place towards the planet Sadala, which is where the Saiyans of Universe 6 lived so far. now on planet Sadala. Currently on the planet Sadala, the home of the Saiyans of the 6th universe, it was possible to see 3 Saiyans in a desert and lifeless place, and those 3 Saiyans were Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla, and said to be the strongest Saiyans who had the ability to transform into Super Saiyan. Soon the 3 Saiyans disappeared from where they were and reappeared one in front of the other, and then the 3 Saiyans started a battle where Kaba was attacked by the other 2 Saiyans, who had a good combination of battle in pairs, since the two were good friends, and Hao was also a teacher and disciplined. Kaba, who was now receiving attacks from the 2 Saiyans, didn't even have a worried expression, as the Saiyan was much stronger than at the time of the Tournament of Power. Kaba, seeing that Kale and Caulifla's punches were getting stronger and faster, he decided to increase his power, and in this way he made the rhythm of the two break, and in a quick movement, Kaba was in front of Kale throwing a punch in the girl's abdomen, and then giving a right hook to the chin in Kale, and to finish, he made a beam of energy to be fired from his hand, causing it to be thrown far away. Caulifla, seeing that her disciple was being beaten, she flew at high speeds towards Kaba, and soon they both started a violent and high-speed battle. But soon the rhythm of the battle was broken when a ball of green ki hits Kaba, causing him to be thrown away. Seeing that Caulifla looked at the direction from where the blow had been thrown, being that at the place was Kale in his Super Saiyan 1 Control legendary form. Seeing that Caulifla animated and also transformed into his Super Saiyan form, and soon the 2 Saiyan women turned to where Kaba was, who also transformed and was already in a fighting posture. And soon the 3 Saiyans advanced against each other, causing great destruction in the place because of the shock of the Saiyans' attacks, and they stayed in that place for some time. But after that time, the 3 stopped training and decided to eat a little to recover their energies. Caulifla said, "Hey Kaba, you're much stronger than you were at the time of the Tournament of Power. You don't seem like a weak Saiyan anymore," said Caulifla with a smirk while looking at Kaba, who just gave a smile. Kale said, "Caulifla doesn't talk about Kaba like that, but she's right when she says you're stronger than before, Kaba," spoke Kale, scolding his master and then praising Kaba's strength, which is much stronger than before. Kaba said, "I appreciate the compliment, Kale, and also, now I don't need to transform myself into a Super Saiyan to defeat the other Saiyans, who call themselves high-class or pure-blood Saiyans, and that annoys me a lot," said the Saiyan, a little indignant with the other Saiyans who always challenge him to try to defeat him. Caulifla said, "On this I must agree with you. Those guys are very annoying and arrogant. They even look like that Vegeta from Universe 7, said the Saiyan while looking at Kaba, who ended up raising some of his power, creating a crack in the stone he was leaning against. Kaba said, "Caulifla, I will not let you speak ill of my master, much less compare him with those insects that think they are the center of the universe. My master is arrogant, but that is because he is very powerful as a Saiyan, and arrogant without power only makes someone stupid," said Kaba, defending his master from the 7th universe. A mysterious being said, "Finally, someone said something right in this universe. I must admit I didn't expect someone from Universe 7 to train someone from Universe 6, but it's not too hard to believe since these 2 universes are twin universes," said one being mysterious on top of a rock while looking at the 3 Saiyans, who soon got up and went into combat stance. Caulifla said, "Who are you? What do you want with us?" spoke Caulifla, already in fight stance. Yamoshi said, "Sorry for my lack of education. I am Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god of Universe 7, and I came from far to face those who must be the strongest Saiyans in this universe, and from what I could perceive, you 3 are the strongest, isn't it?" said Yamoshi, taking off his cloak and looking at the 6th universe Saiyans, who were shocked to hear such information. Kaba said, "A Saiyan from Universe 7? I thought that Master Vegeta and Mr. Goku, together with their sons, were the last Saiyans alive in Universe 7. So how is it possible for you to be alive?" asked the Saiyan as he looked at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "I'm not really in the mood to tell the story of my life. In fact, I came here with a single purpose and objective, which is to fight the strongest Saiyans in this universe, and that's what I'll do. So if you don't come above me, I will come to you." Yamoshi spoke before disappearing and reappearing in front of Kaba, who had made an X using his arms to defend himself from Yamoshi's attack that made him fly a little far away. Seeing that, Kale and Caulifla advanced against Yamoshi, who held the punches of both Saiyans, who didn't care since a few seconds several key spears fired by Kaba, who was further away, hit Yamoshi, making him release the fists of the girls, who, taking advantage of that, gave a double kick at Yamoshi, sending him towards a mountain from that location. Yamoshi barely had time to prepare a counterattack, since Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla were already in front of him, making a coordinated sequence of attacks that Yamoshi had to defend, since they were 3 against 1, and even then that battle is balanced, until Caulifla transformed into a Super Saiyan, making the battle raise the level, and not only her, since Kaba and Kale were transformed as well. Yamoshi, who was already at a clear numerical disadvantage and now in strength, that forced Yamoshi to remove his bracelet, releasing his strength and returning to his younger appearance, and now the fight was really balanced. Yamoshi said, "Show me, children, the power of the Saiyans of this universe, because if I'm not satisfied with this battle, then I will have to destroy this planet, because I'm not allowing weak Saiyans to live," said Yamoshi, making his threat to destroy all the Saiyans of Universe 6, including planet Sadala. In the battle between Yamoshi versus the 3 Saiyans of Universe 6. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla next to each other, and the 3 were transformed into their Super Saiyan forms, and further away from the Saiyans of the 6th universe was Yamoshi, who had now removed his bracelet, and now they look younger and stronger than before. Caulifla said, "How did that old man get that way?" speaking to Caulifla while looking at the younger appearance of Yamoshi, who had a huge smile on his face. Kale said, "Not only does he look younger, but he also seems to be much stronger than before." Kaba said, surprised by the large amount of energy that was emanating from the Saiyan's body. Kaba said, "Stronger or not, he still won't be able to defeat us. After all, we are the 3 strongest Saiyans in the 6th universe, and together we will be able to defeat this guy." Kaba spoke confident that he and the Saiyan girls would be able to face and defeat Yamoshi and protect their planet. Yamoshi said, "What did you say, that I won't be able to defeat you because I'm outnumbered 3 versus 1? Don't compare me, you 3. You are so weak to me. I am someone who is much more powerful than each of you. Ha ha!" said the Saiyan, soon putting himself in a kind of combat stance. Caulifla said, "Let's see if you're that strong." Speaking of that, the woman soon advanced alone towards Yamoshi while ignoring her companions and going towards Yamoshi. Seeing Caulifla coming towards him, Yamoshi just smiles before starting to run towards the Caulifla, who was coming towards him. Soon the Saiyans meet and start a melee combat, where Yamoshi was taking the advantage as he wasn't receiving any of Caulifla's attacks, that even though she was very fast, she wasn't fast enough to dodge Yamoshi's punches that were already making her bleed. But soon Yamoshi raises his arm to defend himself from a flying kick made by Kale that threw him away from Caulifla, and without delay Kaba appeared in front of Yamoshi, giving him a sequence of punches. But Yamoshi wasn't even feeling those blows. Then Yamoshi pointed his hand towards Kaba's face and fired a key sphere that threw the Saiyan away. But before he hit a wall, Caulifla and Kale appear and hold him, preventing him from hitting his back on the wall. Yamoshi thought, they even have good teamwork compared to that Gogeta and Brawly, who also had good teamwork. But these 3 have much better teamwork. Maybe it's because they've trained a lot as a team, since that's what the intergalactic newspapers were talking about. It just makes me even more excited to fight them, thought Yamoshi, excited to fight the trio of powerful Saiyans. Caulifla said, "He's pretty strong, so it looks like we'll have to fight him together, or we'll all end up dead." Speaking of the woman while looking at Kale and Kaba, Kaba spoke, "Now I think I understand. This must be the guy we felt before with the immense power, and this must also be the guy Vados asked to keep an eye out for, in case he shows up in our universe. Kale and Caulifla, do you have your Potara earrings that Vados gave you?" said Kaba, already finding out who the Saiyan was in front of him and how strong he was. Kale said, "Yes, they're with us, and if we can't fight him, then Caulifla and I will merge and we'll become Kefla, and for sure we'll be able to defeat this Yamoshi guy," said the woman while looking at Kaba, who heaved a sigh of relief. Caulifla said, "Well, enough talk. It's time to end this guy once and for all, and it won't be necessary to do the Kale fusion. We are much stronger than before, and we will show it here and now," Caulifla said, raising his power. Something Kaba and Kale do the same and raise their powers. That way the 3 Saiyans turn into Super Saiyan 2. Yamoshi thought, "It looks like they got stronger than before, so I think I can take this fight more seriously too," thought Yamoshi, removing his shirt, which had a huge weight. That way Yamoshi was lighter and faster. Soon Yamoshi began to float and flew at high speed towards the three Saiyans, who did the same thing. Soon the four Saiyans met and started a battle that in a few seconds was happening in the sky. But in this new combat, something was different because Yamoshi was losing, as the three Saiyans were very strong and had a good sense of team battle. Kaba, who was closest to Yamoshi, elbowed Yamoshi's right rib, making him release a little saliva in his mouth. Then Kale appeared and kicked the Saiyan from top to down, throwing him up when Caulifla was, and soon he punched Yamoshi in the face, and in a few seconds Kale appeared under Yamoshi and held his leg where she spun Yamoshi in the air, throwing him on the floor of that place. The moment Yamoshi hit his back on the ground of that place, creating a big crater, but that wasn't over yet because the moment Yamoshi looked up, he saw three energy beams coming towards him, being the attack of the three Saiyans. Yamoshi couldn't flee the place, and so he was hit by the three attacks of the Saiyans. Kaba spoke. "Don't think he's been defeated yet. Let's finish him while he's still weak," said the Saiyan, soon flying towards Yamoshi, being followed by Kale and Caulifla. At the moment that the three Saiyans entered the crater, they saw Yamoshi getting up, but the three Saiyans did not stop and advance. But at that moment that Yamoshi got up, he released his power, turning into a Super Saiyan. And in a few seconds, Kaba ends up vomiting a lot of blood when he felt a punch from Yamoshi that hit him with great force and speed, making the Saiyan fly out of that place. Kale and Caulifla, seeing this, advanced against Yamoshi, but Yamoshi was faster and disappeared and reappeared in front of Caulifla, hitting her with a kick in the face, and without even looking back, he fired a key sphere towards Kale. Kaba, who had already recovered a bit from the previous attack, advanced towards Yamoshi. Kaba said, "We are strong enough to defeat this guy." Kale, Caulifla merged and became Kefla, and will only be the one who can fight this guy, screamed the Saiyan while looking at Kale and Caulifla, who were injured. But Kaba, who started a combat against Yamoshi alone to give Kale and Caulifla time to merge. But Kaba and Caulifla's attacks no longer had the same force that made Yamoshi feel anything else from a mosquito bite. Yamoshi said, "You are weak, Saiyan." Yamoshi spoke right away, punching Kaba and knocked him out at the same moment. After defeating Kaba, Yamoshi would go straight to face Kale and Caulifla, but the moment he turned around, an intense light surrounded Kale and Caulifla's body, and after a few moments, in place of the two girls, there was only one woman, being the Kefla, the fusion of Kale and Caulifla. Kefla said, "Now that I've arrived in this battle, you better give up, and if you don't, you can leave here lifeless. But if you choose to fight, I'll have to kill you." The fusion spoke while looking at Yamoshi, who, seeing that, decided to kick Kaba's unconscious body in the direction of Kefla, who soon catches him. But at that moment, in seconds, Kefla received a punch in the face from Yamoshi, making her fly away, still with Kaba's body in her hands. Yamoshi said, "You talk too much, girl. Now that you've merged, you must be stronger. So come on, show me what you've got, and come and try and hurt the Saiyan God." Yamoshi spoke in an arrogant and proud way while looking at Kefla. Kefla, seeing that, got up and the same left towards Yamoshi, who put himself in a fight posture before rushing towards Kefla, and in a few seconds both Saiyans clashed their fists, creating several cracks in the floor of that place. And then the exchange of punches and kicks was initiated by the two Saiyans, and Kefla was losing because of Yamoshi's extreme speed. Kefla, seeing this, stopped holding back and decided to transform into a Super Saiyan. And after her transformation, Kefla, at an even greater level of speed, advanced towards Yamoshi, who, because of Kefla's speed, was not able to dodge the blows being hit by her. Several hits. It was so many hits that Yamoshi's bones were broken, causing Yamoshi to vomit blood. Yamoshi thought, "That blow really hurt. Amazing. To think that I could find Saiyans even stronger than that Brawly and that fusion called Gogeta. But this Kefla is another level of strength, and that amuses me a lot," thought the Saiyan excitedly, as he looked at Kefla, who was now doing some jumping around while looking at Yamoshi. Kefla said, "For a god, you are very weak, you know. If you're called the god of Saiyans, then I am now the god of Saiyans too, ha ha!" Kefla spoke before advancing with a blow towards Yamoshi's face, but Kefla ended up being amazed when her fist was stopped by Yamoshi, who had an aura of flames around his body, and in a matter of seconds Yamoshi's hair and eyes turned red. Yamoshi spoke. "A god, you say? Put yourself in your place, you little thing. Yamoshi spoke before punching Kefla's abdomen, making her kneel down, and then Yamoshi glued his foot to the woman's head, making her hit her face on the ground. Yamoshi spoke, "Now you understand your place. A mortal cannot compare to a true god," said the Saiyan while stepping on Kefla's face. So guys, we've come to the end of another video today. For those of you who like this content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave the comments also, which is something very important for the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and goodbye.